years, face tattoos, they've become more and more the norm, especially when you're talking about an artist, especially when you're talking about rappers. Now in today's world of social media impressions, the more extravagant your appearance, well, the better chance you have at standing out from the pack. Now some see it as a rite of passage, establishing yourself as a true artist, but despite all the street cred, there's still those out there who, well, they're a little iffy about the new craze.
Kinda just wanna, I don't know, piss my mom off. I know she's really upset, but I love you so much, mama, you're the best.
In the previous videos in this series, we talked about Lil Wayne and Post Malone, Weezy being a pioneer of the face tattoo era. But in this video, we found 5 different artists to profile. There will be links to the previous installments in this series at the end of this video, but for now, let's jump into face tattoos part 3. Of course, my name is Michael McCrudden, by now you probably know that. And if I were to get a face tattoo, what would you recommend? Sound off in the comments down below. I love reading all your comments. First up in the number 5 spot, we have Michael Ray Nguyen Stevenson, better known as Tyga. Also that Vietnamese part of his name, I probably butchered it. Let's move on. Now this American rapper, he got his first tattoo when he was 14 years old, although it was simply a Bible verse. For him, it meant words of hope in a stage of his life where he was a confused adolescent. Now if you're wondering why he's gotten so many since, well maybe it has something to do with his confusion of keeping up with the Kardashians. I don't know, that's just a guess. Eventually, Tyga would become a massive fan of getting inked, and despite the pain, tattooing his body was another way of capturing his art. In the end, these ink scars, well, they came to cover his entire chest and neck. Although he doesn't have a favorite piece, every time he looks at them, well, he feels he's traveling in time. And because each one has a special meaning for him, maybe that's the reason why he hasn't covered up his Kylie Jenner tattoo completely. Just a hunch.
I think it just depends on what I'm on at the moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything I'm doing right now is Asian inspired. For like the last year, I've been working on a lot of Asian inspired kind of stuff. That's why I got like the dragon.
All right, let's talk about the tattoos he's got on his face. Now, Tyga had always wanted to get a facial tattoo, but he was a little nervous about taking things to that level.
I didn't want to like do nothing I felt like was gonna alter my look too much, and I don't even notice that they're there anymore, which is crazy.
Tyga knew that tattooing his face was going to be a step further, and he decided to get 2 small tattoos, one on top of each of his eyebrows. He got these tattoos when he was only 15 years old, and they are the letters GED, which represent his personal motto, getting every dollar, getting educated daily. But these are not the only facial tattoos he has. If you look really closely, he has another one next to his right eye. There lies 3 small dots who are inked on his face by none other than Lil Wayne. Who better to get a tattoo on your face from than the pioneer of the face tats, for real.
It's still right here, though.
Now if you do a good old-fashioned Google search, 3-dot tattoos, it stands for My Crazy Life. And this is a common practice of gang members who are in prison. They be tattooing dots on each other all the time. Now, according to Lil Wayne, the meaning, well, it's a little deeper than that. For him, it stands for laugh, think, and cry. He also calls these $3 tattoos, charging $1 per dot, and then he donates all the money to worthy causes. Pretty dope. And the next guy on our list, well, it's an artist with a 3-dot tattoo. Coming in at number 4, we have Keenan Daquan Ray Jackson, although you probably know him better as YG. YG has a lot of tattoos covering his body, and these tattoos are a visual testimony of everything he's had to overcome. And these include, the tattoos on his face. Now, during the release of his album My Crazy Life back in 2014, he told the press the 3 points near his eye, well, they represent his crazy life. Boom! No donation needed. YG, you're off the hook. Alright, I know some of you guys are gonna say YG doesn't have any tats on his face. Isn't this supposed to be like a face tattoo video? You're right. But can we all take a second to appreciate the tattoos he has on the top of his head? They're there. The Virgin Mary tattoo was made by a California artist by the name of Nini, and YG, he got this while he was waiting for the release of his second studio album. And this piece is also accompanied by a phrase that says, "No weapon forged against me shall prosper." Undoubtedly, this has a personal meaning for the rapper. On several occasions, he was in the middle of shootings. The most famous of one, well, it took place in his recording studio in Los Angeles, and this was during the summer of 2015. Now, I'm happy to hear that the man survived. He's been through enough pain already. If you didn't know, getting a tattoo on your head is said to be one of the most painful pieces of work you can get done. The only other spot that's more painful, well, it's said to be the rib cage. And your boy YG, well, he's got ink there as well. Next up in the number 3 spot, we have Soulja Boy, who forever in my mind will always be Supermaning that hoe. Now if you haven't checked out Soulja Boy's Before They Are Famous video, this man is considered one of the first artists to use social media to boost his fame and make a killing selling ringtones. Now his accomplishments, they don't end there. He's also one of the first artists to make face tattoos a trend.
My mama got mad as hell.
On the top of his eyebrows, he has the words SODMG, also life, in addition to the number 100. On the other side, he has his mom's name, Lisa. He also has a star, and on his cheek, he has a palm tree. There's also a Chinese kanji and a treasure map. However, the Gucci logo between his eyebrows, well, it's the most controversial one.
Why the Gucci logo?
I just felt like I spent so much money on Gucci in my life.
In time, he regretted those things he did as a young man, and he wanted to make up for his mistakes. He decided to remove his face tattoos and document the procedure on the now deceased social network we all knew as Vine. He wanted to show his fans that it's never too late to fix your mistakes. He's also an advocate for those who want to remove their tats, encouraging others to do the same.
So why try to remove them now?
Cause it's time for that. I need to do movies and TV shows, and you know what I'm saying?
Moving on to the number 2 spot, we have your boy Jeffrey, but you probably know him better as Young Thug. Now it's hard to make a video about face tattoos on rappers without mentioning Gucci Mane. You know, the ice cream cone? It's gonna go down in history. If aliens come to this planet, they're gonna find a picture of old Guwap and they're just gonna leave. If you wanna know more about Guwap's ice cream cone tattoo, well, it's in part 1 or part 2 of this series. Near Young Thug, he paid tribute to Guwap and, well, he wanted to show his respect, his admiration, and his support. And the best way to do this, well, was to get his very own ice cream cone tattooed on his face. Regardless of the tattoo being a different size and in a different location, the design was the exact same. Now, as people do when it comes to Young Thug, they started asking a lot of questions. Young, he had performed in some of Gucci Mane's shows, but the design of the tattoo, it still seemed ridiculous. Some even questioned if it was a sign of infatuation. It was soon revealed that it was a temporary tattoo inked on as an advertisement campaign for a collaborative project between the two rappers. Now that we got the fake tattoo out of the way, let's talk about the real ones. And there's a whole bunch.
So today I'm showing my fans my facial tattoos.
Young Thug has one above his right eyebrow where you can read R.I.P. Beanie, and this was his older brother who was killed when he was only 20 years old. On the same side, but on his cheek, he also has a broken heart, and this is again dedicated to his brother. In the center of his forehead, he has R.I.P. OS, who was one of his best friends, and he was also murdered. On a more positive note, he also has tatted on his face the name of his sons, Kevion and Jacob. I guess you'll never forget your boy's name when it's looking you straight in the face. You know, like in a mirror. Now on the left side of his forehead, he has a thinking bubble with the letters MOMM, and this isn't as sentimental as you might think. It stands for money on my mind. He also has a snake on top of his forehead, and that goes all around his hairline.
And it ties, so it looks like a bandana, but it's a snake. So it's a snaky bandana.
Above his left eyebrow, he has a tattoo that says 6 girls, 5 boys, and this represents all of his siblings. Also on the same side, but under his eye, he has a tattoo with the letters YC, and that's his brother's initials who is in prison. Under his lips, he has the phrase eat them, and under one of those, well, he has a nose with teardrops, and it spells YSL, the abbreviation for Young Stoner Life. And, well, I'll let Young Thug explain the smiley face he has under his lip.
A nose, and a mouth, and a tongue. And the 2 piercings that I had right there was the eyeballs. Get it?
He also has the phrase in God on one side of his face, I trust on the other side of his face, which is something that makes him seem like a really religious man, but he also then has F you all. That's written on his eyelids. It's just a little bit of a contrast, I must say.
It's the guy who asked me what does my tattoos on my face mean. Is this even listening?
Finally, in the number 1 spot, seeing as I'm filming this video on what would be the deceased rapper's 22nd birthday, hashtag RIP, we have Lil Peep. One of his first facial tattoos is a broken heart. He got this back in 2015. Now the reason behind the tattoo was motivation to push himself harder with his music. He also got 2 tattoos on his forehead. The one on the right, it reads Get Cake, and on the left side, it read Die Young. Oddly enough, Lil Peep, well, he said that he woke up with these 2 tats and he never knew how he got them. In the center of his forehead, he had a horseshoe. This one was just for good luck. Also on each side of his head, he would get 2 tattoos. One is a drawing that Ed Hardy made for an exhibition, and Peep, while in London, he decided he would get it on his face, or his head, because he had just shaved his head and he had some new real estate. But that one didn't hurt as much. Not as much as the one that he got on the other side.
Front of your head really is not that bad, but the further it gets towards the back, just like, whoa.
He also got an A of Anarchy to differentiate himself from the people that were trying to copy his style. And finally, on the right side of his face, he had a rose, a star, and a wave with a moon in the line of his jaw. Another of his most representative facial tattoos is Crybaby. The text is in cursive above his right eyebrow. He was starting to feel like he had been complaining too much, and he just wanted a reminder of how grateful he was for all that he had accomplished. Now, to be honest with you guys, I was a little out of the loop of the impact Lil Peep had on his generation, and I just wish I made his Before They Were Gone video a little differently. It's very sad stuff. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. Of course, you know what to do. My name is Michael McCrudden. If you want a part 4, be sure to let us know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in another video. It was a sad note to end it on. Writers, make that... Don't...